welcome to Money Talks. I'm your host, Ed Marshall. Can you believe it? It's December 2018. The year is almost over. We hope you've enjoyed the shows and we look forward to seeing you next year. We're going to pick up the show this time where we left off in November, talking about the Port of Plaquemines and the expansion there. This time, though, we talked to the Deputy Director, Paul Matthews, who tells us about the employees there and lots more great news happening at that port. Here's Paul.
Well, we have over 40 of our finest captains, engineers, and inspectors whose job is it to provide security to the first 80 miles of the Mississippi River, which includes rescue and response and also fire protection. Each and every day, there are thousands and thousands of ship traverses up and down the first 80 miles of the Mississippi River, and it's their responsibility to protect the river. Now, we're excited about all the activity that we plan on seeing over the next few years. As you know, there's been announced more than $19 billion of investment coming to Plaquemines Port by way of major LNG facilities, major methanol facilities, a export of crude oil by way of Plaquemines liquid terminals, and we continue to seek the development of a container terminal. So these individuals are going to have more cargo, more ships traversing the river than ever before. And with the tools that they have and the training that they have, they can do everything they can to make sure all that cargo and all those vessels are safe so that we can move the goods properly up and down the Mississippi River. Our individuals, our inspectors, our engineers, our captains are the first ones that see these vessels get in and out of the river. And to make sure that everything is running properly, the activity is going in the proper ways, they are trained mightily with having 3 vessels to be able to secure the river. And so we're very excited for this further development. We believe that we're going to grow in this area, but we have the right team, we have the right people in place to secure all the activity going on in Plaquemines Port. I think of the words of Commissioner Bartholomew in which he says that Plaquemines Parish is kind of like the Show Me Parish of Louisiana. You got to show them something. And we understand that. And that's why we're very excited of all the developments that are going to be happening over the next few years at Plaquemines Port. Everybody wants to see a shovel on the ground, and it's coming soon. But we know that our men and women who are here serving as inspectors and captains and engineers are ready for the task to monitor all the activity, vessels and cargo that's moving through Plaquemines Port. So safety is the #1 priority. So having our 3 vessels, Authority 1, 2, and 3, and having the right individuals serving in the roles of engineers, captains, and marine inspectors to provide the proper security, rescue, response, and fire protection on the first 80 miles of the river is absolutely paramount as we see all these developments, as we mentioned before, take shape in the next few years.
And thank you, Mr. Matthews. When we come back, we'll be talking about a sport that a lot of people may not know that's going on big time right here in the New Orleans area. It's rugby. We'll tell you about it, so stay with us.
As soon as you play, I'm playing. I'm saying my first drum, second's your first beat. I'm saying first, you 2 feet, then we might stand up. Like first you get your hands, then I get your hands up. My sound, your throat, my dance, your feet. You hear my no heartbeat. The metronome in your chest keeps you in time till there's no time. So you sing till you got no breath, and whoever's next dances to the song you've left. Music creates movements, inspire movements. Where I am, you've been. There was you, then there was music. Music follows you.
Well, welcome back to Money Talks. We've got some great information. You may not know about an athletic association that's right here in your backyard. That's right. And it's run by a local attorney, Attorney Tim Falcon, and it is actually a rugby team, NOLA Gold. And here to tell us more about it, of course, is Attorney Falcon. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Ed. Thanks
I
for
know
having me
you've been on some of the sports shows out here at WLAE, but now
Yeah.
we've got you on Money Talks because we want to
good.
talk to you about the team and some of the things that they're doing. But give us a little background on Tim Falcon and how all this came to be.
Yeah, so went to West Jefferson High School, so local high school, up to LSU. Tried football team, didn't quite work out as a walk-on, so I started playing rugby at LSU. It's my 40th year, still play some rugby. So we've been involved with the New Orleans Rugby Club, the high school league that we started 15 years ago. So I've been involved with just about everything dealing with rugby for a long time.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago, an opportunity came along where there was a group of teams around the country that were going to form a professional league. And so I was at the foundation meetings. We're a founding member of Major League Rugby. Major League Rugby is now the premier rugby league in America.
Wow.
And it's growing to be, soon to be one of the biggest leagues in the world. So we started out with 7 teams the first year. Team in Seattle, San Diego, Denver, Glendale up in Denver, Salt Lake City, Houston, Austin, and New Orleans.
Wow.
Second year we'll have Toronto and New York playing. And year 3 we're going to have DC, Atlanta, Boston, and Dallas. So we'll go to 13 cities in 3 years.
I found out about you all. I was at a mixer for the chamber, and Black was along with the Algiers Economic Development Foundation, and a good friend of mine who's a branch officer over at Gulf Coast, Victoria, introduced me to one of your players, and I was like, "What are you doing down here?" And he says, "You actually play out of here." So tell us about how your team, where the young men come from. How do you all solicit players?
Well, first, Victoria and Gulf Coast have been great. They're great partners with NOLA Gold, and NOLA Gold is like every other business. It's an economic development. We see it as a way to drive business in tourism, sports tourism, bring fans to town. Seattle's bringing a bunch of fans in just this second year already. And of course, being New Orleans, every fan base is looking to, if they're going to travel somewhere, they're going to travel to New Orleans for a game.
Right.
So we've, like I said, we've been involved with the high school rugby. There's an amateur team in town called New Orleans Rugby Football Club, and it now oversees a local competition of 5 teams. And so there's an amateur team where guys will play in high school, they'll go to college, play for LSU, Tulane, University of Louisiana. There's several colleges in the state that play. So what now that we have a professional team, we are tracking these kids. We're recruiting them out of college. We have 3 or 4 college All-Americans coming in to play for us from around the country. But we really are trying to expand the base of providing rugby for more kids in the city.
Yeah. And how do they hear about you? Kids watching the show, their parents watching the show, how do they get in touch with you?
They can go to nolagoldrugby.com.
Okay.
And they'll have information on our site how to contact us. And we're forming a foundation, NOLA Gold Rugby Foundation, which is modeled after a program that we started 20 years ago, Cafe Reconcile,
Yeah.
Cafe
And that's
Hope.
what I want to talk to you about. You all do some really great stuff with young people with the Cafe Reconcile. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that was a program, again, we started with my brother-in-law and my father, Harry Thompson, and we're basically using the culinary arts to train kids, get at-risk kids off the street. We partner with Chef Emerald and the Brennan family, and so it's obviously, I think it's become a bit of an institution in New Orleans now. And they do great food. Chef Joe's still there. He's a great guy, and so
It works because I've worked with
works.
Cafe Reconcile in the past as well, so I'm glad to see we got it on.
Yeah.
And you got some great places. I mean, they're opening at Timberlane.
Cafe Hope's at Timberlane now.
Railroad, right?
Yeah, and then Liberty's Kitchen is out in Mid-City. So the model works, and a lot of kids are getting their lives turned around, so we're happy about that. And now we're going to use rugby to do the same thing.
Exactly.
This is going to be fun. So
And that was my lead into my next story. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how rugby and dogs all work together. It's something that you definitely want to tune into. They're called PAWS, and it's the Plaquemines Animal Shelter Association. So when we come back, we're going to tell you about how this rugby team is doing a whole lot to help that shelter. So stay with us. We'll have more.
Louisiana needs a hero.
Someone to look after it, preserve it.
We have to do something now.
If everybody took care of their spot, we wouldn't have this conversation.
We all have to do our part.
The power is yours. All you have to do is pick it up.
Care about it. Protect it. Save it.
Be an everyday hero.
Keep Louisiana beautiful.
welcome back. During this season of holiday giving, we want to tell you about some giving that's going to go on not only this year, but also through the calendar year of 2019. And joining me now are you met Tim earlier. I want you to meet Miss Michelle Falgout, and she's with PAWS, the Plaquemines Animal Welfare Society, that basically handles all of the animals that are needing homes and things like that in Plaquemines Parish. Welcome to the show.
Right, thank you.
And we're going to tell you a little bit about how Tim gets involved with his rugby in just a little bit. But first of all, let's talk to you, Michelle. You're the treasurer of the organization there.
Yes, sir, I am.
And I know, like most shelters, every shelter usually needs finances to operate because you get a lot of stray animals. They come in and they're beautiful, and you want to take them all home.
That's right.
And what we really want to stress is that the animals have really become it's truly part of the family. Now hotels and everywhere else welcome animals. So tell us a little bit about PAWS.
PAWS is always in need of funds. We have a contract with the parish because we took over their animal control also to make PAWS the first no-kill shelter in Louisiana.
When you say no-kill, that means that no animal is destroyed.
No animal is put down for space or any other reasons. The only time you put an animal down is if it's medically necessary and it's best for them.
That is wonderful.
So we don't put any animals down for any other reason. And then, so that the parish gives us a check each month to help with the funding in our contract. It covers our payroll for the most part. And then the rest of the funds for all the medical expenses and any treatment that the animals need is part of our fundraising.
And that's why we got attorney Tim Falcon involved. You met Tim a little while ago. We were talking about his rugby team. Well, the rugby team has decided that they're going to get involved with PAWS. So tell us about that, Michelle.
Victoria and I were sitting talking. She noticed on my Facebook that I do a lot with PAWS. And so she started asking me questions about it. And I told her that I was trying to do some fundraising and kind of think outside the box because they do the same things and it pulls the same people. And I felt like, people give, and we need to get new givers to help us out. And so I was trying to think of things outside the box. And the first thing I came up with was a 70s dance because I like to dance. And so we did a costume dance. And we raised like $6,500, just everybody coming and dancing for 4 hours and dressing up in 70s, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, while we were talking about that, I told her I had the idea of a calendar, and some of the board members have been around for a long time, and they said they did a calendar before, and it didn't raise any money. They spent more money, producing it, and it didn't raise the money. And so Victoria said, but they didn't have rugby players. And I could get us rugby players, and you could get the animals, and then we could even get some of the guys to take their shirt off, and that would definitely sell.
And as we talk about this, I'm sure our producer, director, Ms. Diana Jones, is going to roll some of the tape and show some of the people in those calendars. We noticed that Tim was not in the calendar this year. Tim,
not because we didn't try.
Tim, how did you, when they approached you, what did you think?
We thought a great way to partner, not only to help them with their cause, but also get our fellows out there and let the public see who our players are, get to know them a little bit. And, I think you can see from some of them, they keep themselves pretty fit.
They keep themselves real fit. I met one of your players at, like I said, at that mixer, and I was like, you know what? I'm old, but I got to try to get myself back in shape. Yeah. So tell us about the calendars. How do people get their hands on them, and what do
Well, the calendar, we put together a group. The rugby team donated their time. We had our animals. I got a photographer. She's out of the Galliano area, and she donated all her time and her skills to make the whole thing. And then she has, her name is Jamie, and she has Infinite Memories is the name of her studio.
You know what? Beautiful pictures. I mean,
yes, she did an
quality.
Excellent job.
Yeah.
Excellent job. So the only thing that cost us was the printing. And so we printed 1,000 calendars. If we sell everything, we should make about $15,000.
So about $15,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would definitely
go to your Facebook page. Excuse me.
We have Facebook, and we also have a website. It's pawsforlife.org, where we have a link that you can order them online, and we'll ship them to you. You have to pay, I think, $3.50 for shipping, something like that.
Okay.
But we do have that. You can get them at PAWS. We also have a couple of different places that we're doing the sell of the calendar and signing. The guys are going to come out and autograph it for you.
Tim, you're going to get arranged for so when you get a signed calendar, that's really special.
We have Friday night, which is our kennel auction at Paws. It's an open house, so people can come and try to get to know the shelter and what goes on there. And Gino will be there, and we're going to have him autograph some with his paw.
Okay.
And then some of the guys are going to be there autographing. We have Gattuso's is helping us out next Wednesday on Ladies' Night on the 5th. From 6 to 9, we're going to sell the calendars, and we're going to have some autographing, and we're also going to have a sexy Santa photo op for the ladies that come out.
All right, we're going to leave that at that. Okay.
We're going to have at the games also, all the home games. We will do tailgating and sell the calendars and have autographs.
When do those games kick up?
January 26th, our first home game.
Okay, and where is it played?
We're at the Gold Stadium off of Barrett behind Archbishop Shaw High School.
Okay.
So we'll start there January 26th.
Which is really down near your Cafe Hope and all that stuff that you donate to.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something earlier, and we got to bring that up. That John Goodman is doing some work with you.
John's been great. So we have our first of all, John is our team spokesman. He's done the second year he's done commercials for us, which is really helpful, obviously.
Tell us how you met him.
So the St. Louis Bombers old boys. So in rugby, when you get to be over 35 or 40 or 50 and you still want to play, that's an old boys games. So the St. Louis Bombers old boys came to play the New Orleans old boys, and next thing I know, I'm scrummaging against John Goodman. He was a buddy of the St. Louis guys, and they brought him in. So when we started the NOLA Gold professional team, I reached out to my friends in St. Louis, and they connected me with John. And a couple emails later, he was doing a commercial for us.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And what he's doing now, which is really special, and he's getting a lot of time he's putting into it, he's hosting our Big Lebowski fundraiser, which is going to be January 13th at the Rock and Bowl.
Okay.
So it'll be a Big Lebowski-themed party, obviously, and John Goodman will be there, and we'd like everybody to come join us.
And calendars and the rugby players and people from Paws. You know, I got 30 seconds to wrap you guys up, but I must tell you, you all left out somebody that's really should have been in that calendar. Ms. Jones, can you put the picture up of that guy? Because he was trying to get to be in the calendar, but nobody asked him. That's me. I thought I'd throw that in there for a little joke. I got to work on the test some more. But anyway, we can take that picture out now, Ms. Jones. I just thought we'd have a little fun with that.
There you go.
Well, I appreciate you all coming by. And as things progress, please come back and see us, okay?
We will. Thanks
for your time.
All righty.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all. We'll have more Money Talks when we come back. We've got lots more for you, so you don't want to go anywhere. So stay with us.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
The LSU medical family said goodbye to a giant in the field of cardiology. Dr. Gerald Berenson, professor of cardiology at LSU Health New Orleans School of Medicine, passed away while visiting family in Houston. Dr. Berenson was an internationally known physician-scientist whose work helped shape the profession's understanding of the causes of heart disease. LSU Health New Orleans Chancellor Dr. Larry Oye said, Dr. Berenson's pioneering Bogalusa Health study provided new information about how risk factors in children evolve as they age and the pathogenesis of cardiovascular and metabolic diseases. Dr. Berenson was 96 years old. Well, there was a special memorial birthday celebration in town as well. It was for a New Orleans businessman by the name of Isaac Delgado, who died in 1912. The wealth from his estate gave the region the perpetual gift of Delgado Community College, which has become the second largest institution of higher learning in total enrollment in Louisiana. Each year, the college honors his memory and legacy with a ceremonial visit to his tomb in Metairie at the cemetery there. Delgado's interim chancellor, William Wainwright, along with officers of the Delgado Community College Alumni Association and members of the staff of the Delgado Institutional Advancement made the traditional visit to his tomb, where a wreath of flowers was laid and words of appreciation were also spoken. Isaac Delgado also gave to New Orleans the expansion of Charity Hospital and established the New Orleans Museum of Art. Well, it wouldn't be Christmas without the spirit of a white Christmas. And in the spirit of that wonderful musical, Jefferson Performing Arts Society presents the musical White Christmas, of course, at its wonderful new building on Airline Highway. The musical is based on the Paramount Pictures 1954 film of the same name. The book is by David Ives and Paul Blake, with music and lyrics by Irving Berlin. And you don't want to miss that wonderful, wonderful musical this month. Well, that's going to do it for Money Talks. We hope you had a wonderful year. We hope you really got a lot of good information you can use from the Money Talks program. We do our best to make that happen. We want to thank our producer, Ms. Nyla Jones, and many other people who work on the program, such as Mr. Will Hill and others who bring this program to you, along with so many other good people that work in the studio. From all of us, we say happy holidays, and we'll talk to you soon.